at you live, covering all things professional wrestling. A show by members of the Busted Open Nation. Welcome to the Nation's Corner. Here are your hosts, the Nation's Corner crew.
It's Saturday, you know what that means. Nation's Corner crew is live, back here, and with me I've got from the north up there in Mongrovian Mike. How you doing?
How's it going, Miss Debhausen?
It's going great. And from over in the west in Indy, Ezra, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. It's good to be here, back on this show after a little while. Let's rock and roll, baby.
Hell yeah. We got a lot to talk about tonight. There is a lot going on this week. I want to get into some indie talk first. There's so much happening in the indie world. Just tonight, we've got a bunch of different shows happening. Right now, MLW is airing a show. We have Limitless up in Maine airing a show, which is headlined by this right here. Donovan Dijak versus Bear Bronson.
Oh, yeah.
Up in Maine. So that's very exciting. We got GCW tonight. Incredible card going on there. So we got that going on. So I wanted to kind of spend some time in the beginning of the show talking about the indies, everything that everybody is watching that they're liking. There's a lot of crossover stuff happening. So Elder, I'll come to you first, Mongrovian. What is on your horizon that you're super excited about?
I am excited about Creative Pro, always Creative Pro, Victory Pro Wrestling. Obviously, we have C Pro Wrestling out here. I'm excited about everything that Bear and Gabby are doing, and that Leo Sparrow, I mean, just doing phenomenal stuff. Nat Castle having her first death match recently with Dozer.
Yeah.
So Matt Tremont, took her to death match 101 class, and she survived. So there's so many great things going on. We got GCW tonight. We got MLW on right now. They're on YouTube. You can find them. So there's so much good independent wrestling, regardless of the other two. But if we have to mention something, AEW Plus adding all of the Limitless Wrestling and the Creative Pro Wrestling to their subscriber.
Yeah.
So Deb, you could take it from there.
Yeah, well, and that brings me to Ezra, because one of the things being added to my AEW is Warrior Wrestling, and I know that's up in your neck of the woods in Chicagoland. So that's exciting for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Warrior is definitely become one of the Chicago staples in the area, along with AEW, 2CW, CSW, Chicago Style Wrestling. All those companies out there who have all been killing it, having great shows. It's been a crazy thing, and Warrior has been one of the staples since they first put together. They kind of, went away for a little bit, became Pro Wrestling Ventures, but then it went back to the Warrior name, and ever since then, banger after banger after banger, as Seamus would say, when it comes to cards and matchups and first time matchups. And there's one coming up called Block Party, which is going to be in Crown Point, Indiana, which is only about 35 minutes away from my home here in Portage. And one of the matchups I'm excited for is Stardom's own Hazuki, who we just recently saw on Dynamite this week, taking on Elder's favorite women's pro wrestler, the woman who wants to murder him and separate his body into 20 different pieces, Marina Shafir, the Problema. So, and yes.
You don't have OC? You don't have Orange Cassidy yet?
Oh, no, I didn't put that picture in. I should.
Don't
Red
worry.
one, Jay.
It's on.
But,
Go to the Nation's Corner pages and you'll find it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Warrior's definitely been on my radar. I mean, one of the other big matchups is going to be a tag team known as Better Together taking on the Outrunners. So, and Gringo Loco is going to take on Resplendor for the Warrior Wrestling Lucha Championship. So, awesome card, July 19th. But, you know, other indies.
Man alive.
Yes. And other indies, you know, all around the U.S. I mean, obviously, Limitless, GC Dub has been, of course, my mainstay go-to. But, I mean, shout out the Wrestling Revolver. I mean, ever since they moved to YouTube, they've been putting on amazing matches, amazing cards with some of the best talent from all around the world. And, you know, recently released Steve Macklin. I mean, Leo Rush. How can you go wrong with some of the stars on this
And now
card?
you got not only that, now, you know, it's unfortunate that Sammy got let go from TNA, but now he could dedicate 100% time to his promotion, and who knows what's going to happen there. You know, that'll might kick it up a notch even more, even though it's great, as we always want to see every show, every promotion do better and better.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about my AEW because we've had a lot of announcements recently about all these indie.
It's not just yours;
that
it's
are...
mine too.
Thanks.
I'm full of dad jokes.
Yeah, so we got announcements. C4 out of Ottawa, Canada, is on my AEW. Produce, which is a startup coming by Orange Crush. If you guys, I know you guys are familiar with what he does. They have a lot of content being added to my AEW, little snippets of just little bios on different indie wrestlers, which is really awesome. And then they've got a whole lineup of shows coming up during the summer that'll be on there. We got Limitless from Maine, 1FW from Atlanta, which is QT Marshall's promotion, Wrestle Pro out of New Jersey, and now Create a Pro out of Long Island, along with Warrior out of Chicago. That is all being added to my AEW. One thing I was thinking of, and House of Glory. It was announced yesterday that House of Glory will be moving to my AEW as well. They've been on Triller.
You can't go wrong then. So between Hog, Limitless, Creative Pro, we're going to see so many Creative Pro alumni. We're going to get to see a lot more Gabby Forza, a lot more Bear, a lot more Dante Drago, who is the best, and now he's the mayor of wrestling. And so I just so many different stars we're going to see on
and I know that my AEW, they said a lot of this content is available free without a subscription, so it is available to people in the US that don't have a subscription to my AEW. However, I honestly highly recommend getting a subscription. We've talked about for a while now that VPNs are definitely the way to go for streaming wrestling, because if you're in the US, using a VPN to watch both WWE and AEW is extremely cost effective and easy. It'll save you a whole ton of money on a whole bunch of other subscriptions and pay-per-view costs and all that kind of crap. So I highly recommend getting a VPN if you don't have one already, and signing up for my AEW. The yearly subscription is the best. Just pay once and you're good for the entire year. Everything's included.
Awesome.
So yeah. So I wanted to ask you guys, with my AEW kind of building this network here, and we've seen a bunch of these indie companies leaving Triller Plus. We know that there's been issues with Triller, and they're currently in a lawsuit with AEW. Number one, do you think that at some point GCW will follow suit? And number two, do you think that it might cause issues with Carlos Silva in TNA, because then TNA talent will be on indie shows that are on AEW streaming service. Ezra, I'll go to you first. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. We'll speak about the Carlos Silva one first, and it's a touchy subject. It really
Yeah.
is. It's a very touchy subject because we don't know where it may affect, these companies going forward because of the fact TNA right now has their partnership with NXT. Obviously, in WWE with the talent exchange, so it's a mixed bag. They could maybe Silva will let it go because it's just that. But what we saw recently with Nick Nemeth appearing on the same card as MJF, facing each other in a match, and then it got switched. I mean, I could see Silva pulling that card if influenced either by himself or by maybe even some people in WWE. I don't know. That's not what I'm implying, but it could happen. But as far as GCW, I don't know about them leaving Triller only because that's kind of been their established home base, and it allows them to get the talent that they need because they can get talent from everywhere on Triller. They don't have to worry about restrictions. They don't have to worry about nothing because we've seen Bloodsport cards. We've seen Spring Break cards that featured WWE, TNA, AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, Star, all of it at the same time. And I think that staying on Triller allows GCW that freedom to be able to work with all those companies in a fair, balanced way where no talent is favored over the other while still featuring their own grown talent like Jordan Oliver and Gringo Loco, Nino Extremo, and those in Matt Tremont, Nick Gage, without complications.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. So, Elder?
I just think it's freaking awesome because you know what? You could go back and you could watch the Leo Sparrow versus MJF at Creative Pro back in 23, and you might be able to see Mongrovian Mike in the audience.
Oh.
Well, here's the question.
No. I think it's just really cool because now instead of having to subscribe to another service, now that a lot of that wrestling is going to be right on my AEW, which is cool because my AEW is your AEW and Ezra's AEW, and we love it.
Yeah, I was thinking about it last night. We were talking about it on Zoom. After House of Glory made the announcement that they were going to be leaving Triller and moving over to my AEW, I thought, the Hardys are the House of Glory tag champs, and Nick Nemeth is frequently on their shows, if not pretty much every show. So it just, I just wonder because of the pattern that we've seen with Carlos Silva and, kind of how he treats things like that. I have concern that he's going to get upset that they're on an indie show that's on AEW streaming service, and then they're gonna tell them that they can't work those indie bookings, which I have certain feelings about, whether or not it's right that yes, they are contracted to TNA, but it's not a full-time schedule. Would it be right for Carlos Silva to then dictate what indies they can and cannot work at?
I don't know if that's going to affect him because it's more exposure for the Hardys. It's not, you know what I mean? Like the MJF Nick Nemeth thing was more or less probably he didn't want to see Nick lose.
Yeah.
Because of the plans they have with Nick with the cup and challenging for the title and also it was only a show. It was one show and it didn't affect the ticket sales. So
true.
At the end of the day, I think Carlos Silva learned from Hopefully he learned something. We always talk about, I hope TK learns something. We know Triple H knows a ton of shit. We just hope Triple H gets the okay from higher above for stuff, but we don't know how that's going to go. But you know what I mean? Like, so with this, Hey, there's screws that could be tightened everywhere, but yeah, TNA. We had the talk last week, and I have faith in them because they are on. You know, they are on AMC. So all they have to do is get that one storyline full of fire, you know, and like we said, they got to develop some, you know,
Right.
some more. They got if we're gonna see Mike Santana be the champion, there's got to be someone to impose themselves on him, you know.
Right.
Moose is a face right now.
So talking about TNA then, you know, we got next weekend is the big weekend with all the pay-per-views. Night of Champions is on Saturday, Slammiversary, what is it? Great American Bash for NXT, and then Forbidden Doors on Sunday. So as we get closer to Slammiversary, we're starting to get a better picture of what's going to be happening on Slammiversary. So I am hopeful that, you know, Slammiversary can be a really great show. Ever since I've started watching TNA during the COVID times, it's usually been really great. So I'm hoping that this can maybe be kind of a reset for them. I think it's just been a few weeks where it's just not good PR for TNA. And you know, that goes a long way, really. Like, negative perception, I mean, we've seen it for several years with regards to AEW, that negative perception can really affect, you know, how a show is doing, regardless of whether or not the show is actually good or not. So Ezra, I'll go to you first. We heard Tommy Dreamer on Busted Open this week announce that he was going to be parting ways with TNA. And then just after that, we heard that Sami Callihan was also parting ways with TNA. And then we heard Sami Callihan on Busted Open yesterday talking about that. So Ezra, I just wanted to get your feelings. I know you're a huge Sami Callihan fan. So what kind of did you think of that? And, you know, do you think that TNA is kind of making a mistake not keeping him on?
I think to a degree, yes, because Sammy is a very knowledgeable guy. He's been with the company for multiple years. He knows how this company works, especially in this juncture. I feel like creatively, especially you can see it in Revolver too as well, how creative Sammy truly is. And I feel like they could have used his talent. And I mean, don't get me wrong. They have Delirious, who was the booker of Ring of Honor, and he did an amazing job back in those early years of ROH. Whether it was the storyline with Kevin Steen, whether it was the whole Bryan Danielson, the Summer of Punk, all that stuff a lot of that was Delirious. And I get he's one of the best, but to me, losing Sammy is a big deal because he was such a creative force behind the scenes, and I wish he would have gotten more input because I think if he did, a lot of these stories would a little bit have more cohesiveness. They would have been tighter and they would have meant something. And it also doesn't help that one of your wrestlers called the boss a cuck on live television, and then goes to Revolver. It says I got fired by that cuck or whatever he said on Revolver. You know, it doesn't exactly help the train of thought there and help the publicity. But
sorry, that's funny. It's just funny.
It is. It is, and it's the only question I gotta ask is about Carlos Silva. How does he know? How does he know?
How do you know?
Yeah. But yeah, it's look, losing Sammy sucks, and I wish he would have done more with him because, like I said, creatively, guy's top notch, and I think he could have made some great storylines, could have made some greater strides in storylines with Mike Santana, with Leon Slater. I believe he could have made this whole, well, maybe he could have influenced him to fire Mr. Elegance, but that's a whole different story. But I feel like there's a piece missing now, and I think Sammy would have eventually been that integral piece that helped that company out on the creative side of things.
Right.
Yeah. To your point, as Sammy, I think, has now can dedicate 100% of his creative juices to Revolver. So that is a plus to me. And so if you're hearing the dirt sheets, there's a little rumor going out that it's Road Dogg that might be head of creative. That if that turns out to be true, which it's not right now, we don't know. But something like that, if you get someone of that caliber, I think and he's a TNA alumni too. So
you know? Now you know.
We know. But so
yeah, I think that would be cool. I'd at least be interested to see, someone new comes in, give it a chance, see how it plays out, give it 6 months or so, see how things go. I saw earlier, I wanted to mention this. I saw a little video on Instagram and I shared it to my stories. I'm not familiar with the podcast, and I can't honestly remember the name of the podcast it was, but it was Brian Myers and Bear Bronson. And Brian Myers had said that, to his knowledge, there's never been a student coach tag team champion in wrestling before. And, they are the current TNA tag team champions, Brian and Bear of the system. So honestly, like for me, for TNA, the stuff going on with the system is what I am most interested in. And then, for Slammiversary, I think I want Nick to beat Santana and get the championship. I think Nick Nemeth did an amazing job when he was champion before. So I don't know. I do feel like this Mike Santana reign hasn't been as hot as we hoped it would be.
We wanted it to be. We had so much.
We wanted it to be
so
so
bad. Last week, Deb. Yeah, we're with that. It was it was a drop the ball. It was a lesson learned for them. Hopefully, and like I said, we got to see where they're gonna go from here. There are things that I like. I like the Turner's Eye, Brookside. I like anything with her and Lei Yingli is great. And there's hits and misses with everything.
Right. And,
but,
that's any show. Every show we watch is going to have certain segments that we love and certain segments we're not interested in, and certain storylines that we love and storylines we're not interested in. That's every show.
Listen,
I just think, I do agree with do agree with Pablo in the chat here that since they went to AMC, we really had high hopes, and maybe maybe that's our fault for having high expectations or whatever.
And it feels like they stalled it. It feels like they stalled it for AMC, like they knew AMC was coming up. So let's go into hiatus mode for a little while.
Yeah, that was not a good decision. Taking a month off was not a good decision.
Yeah, you got to keep the fire
I do think
going.
Since they've been on AMC this year, I feel like they're kind of chugging along, but nothing is
they're treading water.
Yeah, nothing is things that will be catching the headlines. People are talking about all the other stuff going on with the business aspect of the the company and things like that, rather than talking about an amazing match or an amazing promo. The show needs to have something that brings that fire, and it just doesn't feel like it's had that. But we're hoping that things the second half of the year goes well.
Yeah, to be positive, you have the system in there, so trust in the system. We got that going. And I mean, we got a real cocky new X Division champion in why am I having a brain fart? Cedric, that's it.
Yes.
And and then we have Eddie is coming back. I mean, I'm not totally against Eddie Edwards having another championship run in him. you know,
Right.
and it would be a good thing because then you could have Moose chasing him back for the championship, right? You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
before we get there, we're gonna get Nick Nemeth versus Santana, and if rumors are
Yeah.
true, which I don't always believe rumors, but
You can
sometimes you
never
see
believe
people.
rumors.
There are certain promotions that like we'll say TNA, since we're talking about TNA. There's people that go only so far, you know, like you could do so many things in one organization and then you have to move upwards and onwards
Yes.
or at least over, you know, do some, you know what I mean? Like, and as far as I see, when you're in TNA, you go upwards, either that or you go over and you start doing a GCW and an independent run. So,
Right.
you know what I mean? So if it's all true, he's going to be in NXT or I don't know if he's going to be straight up. You know, who knows? We never know
I don't
who.
know.
I don't know
I
who
don't
was the
know at
last
this
person
time.
that came straight through. They really, you know what? They don't need any new people up in the big ones right now.
No,
You know,
because there
because
was
they
just like a
really
whole lot of NXT call up.
exactly. They just gutted NXT. So if someone of Santana's stature comes in, that sets it all up again. That reminds me of like when Drew McIntyre came back and he came back into
Yeah.
NXT. Like, oh wow, that's somebody that's been around, you know, and yeah, they know the deal. So,
Yeah.
but lot of great shit going on, really. Deb, what
Yeah.
else do you have?
All right, so let's get into Forbidden Door. We got next weekend.
Hey, there's kids watching. Oh,
So okay,
We're
so
not talking about
first,
your collection from the 14th century, Elder.
we're PG 13. Only fart
um,
booby jokes.
I know that the last couple years at least, there's always this conversation around Forbidden Door that it almost feels like a pit stop on the way to like all in season. Um, and the throughout the year, there's usually not a whole ton of crossover stuff with
Mhm.
with New Japan and Star. More with CMLL. Probably just the
Yeah,
proximity makes it easier. But so it always
which both,
feels
by the way, both organizations like WWE and AAA and AEW and CMLL, they do it great to like just raise awareness about
yes,
Mexican lucha libre wrestling and different style wrestling, and it's great. So
yeah.
go ahead, back Deb. Sorry.
Yeah. So, it always feels like when we're gearing up to Forbidden Door, they have to kind of shoehorn some storylines in place for the crossover stuff to happen. I honestly feel like this year it has felt a little bit more natural. It doesn't feel like these storylines are interrupting what's currently going on AEW. It feels a little more seamlessly kind of integrated.
Yeah,
Obviously, it is an AEW show, like
yeah,
that. It's not an equal thing. It's an AEW show that has crossover elements from CMLL, New Japan, and Stardom. We know
yep.
that. We expect that. But I think really like what I'm loving probably the most is Tekla. Um,
Yeah. That I
Tekla
was gonna
is
say the
just
same thing.
every time she opens her mouth, I am absolutely amazed. I love that she does the walk and talk promos,
Mhm.
where she's just speaking and she's so
And she
captivating.
planted she planted that first cookie crumb of the Stardom crossover thing back when
Yeah,
she was coming down the steps, doing that promo, and whoever it was she was doing the promo against said, "You got your ass fired from Stardom," and she, "No, I didn't." "Oh, yes, I did." You know.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it all started right there, up, and it culminated with her climbing that ladder a couple of weeks ago, and last week or whatever, and spitting on the Stardom
yes.
logo. So the two
It's
people that
been
stand out to me are Tekla, and for CMLL it's Persephone. So those
oh
two
my god,
those
Persephone.
two right there, whoever they're fighting, whatever match is going on at Forbidden Door, those are two matches that I cannot wait to see. Go ahead, Deb. Sorry.
Yeah. Um Yeah, I think like this Tekla versus Stardom stuff, it's been such a captivating thing. Even if you're not like, I don't watch Stardom. I know Ezra, watches Stardom, and Neil watches Stardom, and you guys are much more familiar with who the people are and what's going on. I don't watch it, but still I can. I woke up this morning and saw Tekla showed up on Stardom show, watched a couple of the clips that she retweeted. So if you haven't seen it, you can go on her Twitter page and look at the clips. And I get a quick little thing of like, oh, this is what happened last night at the Stardom show. She attacked the president, and she cut a promo, and then Starlight Kid cut a promo. So Ezra, since you're obviously more familiar, if you want to, if there's anything else that you want to add, kind of to connect the dots for us.
Well, I mean, it first started when Tekla first left Stardom to join AEW. They had built a storyline around her where she had supposedly went off script and attacked Taro Okada, the owner of Stardom, and beat the hell out of him, assaulted him, and she was supposedly fired from Stardom and told never to appear again. Well, she's appeared multiple times. It beat the living hell out of Taro Okada, any chance she got. And even more so now, it's even more prevalent because of Forbidden Door in this plot she has to end Stardom once and for all. Now she's got to take on one of the company's most prominent stars in Starlight Kid, who's won some of the most prestigious titles that Stardom has had. And she's the one now defending the honor of the company up against the total antithesis of what Stardom truly is. And you know that at Forbidden Door, when it comes down to it, you know that the Sisters of Sin, you know that Sky Blue and Julia are not going to be far behind. So
they're a great faction too.
Yeah, and I expect Starlight Kid to not come alone. I expect her to bring some people of her own to help give her a little bit of backup, because she knows she can't do it with Sky and Julia waiting in the wings in case Tekla
does. She have a faction? Does she have a faction there in Stardom, or
she was in a faction. I don't think she is anymore. I think she's doing solo stuff now. But this is going to be a very, very interesting and personal matchup. I expect her to be, because they showed a little bit of the physicality in Stardom today when they kind of went off on each other, and Starlight Kid hit that dropkick that made Tekla, leave the ring, and then they showed a video of her getting dragged out of the arena by two dudes. I'm like, I looked at that and I'm like, these guys, Tekla could fucking beat both of their asses and send them back in a cardboard box to Taro Okada as a gift.
Yeah,
she's so good, and
she is.
Intensity off the top.
Ezra, I was just wondering, can you smarten me up with like we know the difference between CMLL and AAA. That the different styles of Mexican wrestling. What is the style of Stardom wrestling? Like, what would you say that's compared to? Like,
Stardom is very similar to New Japan Pro Wrestling because it's a very much a strong style, hard-hitting, athletically gifted company. The wrestlers can do a lot of the flips and the dives and all that stuff, but they don't mind standing in the ring and trading back and forth for 5 straight minutes with forearms and uppercuts and jabs. They don't mind doing that. These women are tough. They're made tough. That's why women like Tekla. That's why women, even like Io Sky, even in WWE, she could throw down with the best. She doesn't just have a great moonsault.
And is that where Asuka, formerly Kana, came from too?
Yeah, came from that Stardom, Tokyo Joshi Pro. Those companies like that are built for these talents. They feature obviously more glamorous characters. We've seen that before with Mariah May. We've seen it with Tekla with her intense entrance. We see it with Starlight Kid. We've seen it also with another Stardom representative, Mina Shirakawa. She's wrestled for Stardom on numerous occasions.
Okay, so you would say they're kind of like a hybrid of the styles of CMLL and AAA, kind of like, because AAA's got a lot of flashy, a lot of characters, a lot of gimmick stuff, but then they have the tough stuff. But CMLL is like
like straight wrestling,
like straight, like just like that. You could get confused. Like as American fans, we would get confused. But if we were there live, it would be like so freak, like you know.
Oh, I see the
It's
videos
so
of CMLL.
cool.
Like it's crazy.
Like the crowd is insane. Even when
yes.
Speaking of which, they're coming up soon. What's it called? With Triple A's coming up, Ezra. What's that one called? It's like
Triple Mania.
Triple Mania, which is going to be one day is going to be in Mexico City, and the next day is going to be somewhere.
Las Vegas.
Where?
Las Vegas.
In Vegas.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. So, but they get crazy. They get crazy crowds because this it's like you just to take the soccer game out and put the wrestling crowd there, and it's that same energy of the big arena soccer crowd in a different country. Like well, they go crazy here now too. Which
and
is
you know and real quick, Elder, you know who calls Stardom in English? None other than a good friend of the show, Mr. Walker Stewart.
Walker Stewart has the the kid when he graduated 6th grade or whatever, thank you.
he got that voice when he was 11.
Yeah,
yes, when he was working at Mission Pro, he was like what 19 at the time. I was like, that guy is that young.
He was already before Mission Pro. He was already driving back and forth to Oklahoma from Oklahoma to Texas or back and forth, just all over doing all the indies and learning before he even went Mission Pro. But he
crazy.
along with that. I mean, just a great voice on a microphone. He could read you he could read you the yellow pages, and you but he also does his homework.
Elder, it also doesn't just come down to the voice. It's also how much of a sponge he is for the business, how well he studies each and every person, each and the company's history. Look what he's done with New Japan since he joined. When Kelly Kelly and Don Callis left, he stepped into that role, and those were huge shoes to fill on the English side.
Very, very advanced. Very mature for his young age, and that helps in his business with having the respect he has for it too, which goes hand in hand. And it's what you need, because if he didn't have that respect, he wouldn't have got a shot. But I mean, he went from driving from Oklahoma to Texas to getting flown to friggin' Japan to call shows. So
so going back to Forbidden Door, I want to touch on the steel cage match that will be happening between Mark Briscoe's team and MJF's team. We saw the match that they had on Wednesday on Dynamite. And obviously a lot of people, myself included, were thinking like, why are we having a match, right now between these two teams on Dynamite when we're going to be seeing the match between them on the pay-per-view? And my initial thought was like, all right, so obviously something's probably going to happen that's going to like add more layers, to make it more interesting to see what happens on the pay-per-view. And, that's pretty much what we got. I mean, we got a little bit of surprise in the team members themselves with Takeshita and Darby joining Mark Briscoe with the conglomeration. And the Don Callis family members that were picked to be on MJF's team. Something interesting that I thought, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this. In that segment, in the beginning of Dynamite, when they were picking the team members of the Don Callis family, you saw in the background, you saw Trent kind of starting to step forward, like he thought he was going to be called, and then he didn't get called, and he kind of stepped back, and he was obviously like a little forlorn. And even when the segment was winding down and all the other members started walking off screen, he was all the way up at the back of those stairs, like by the door there, just kind of looking like sad, maybe a little like angry that he wasn't picked. So I
Showing
kind of wonder.
cracks in the wall of the Callis
Yes.
family. You got him, you got Andrade. He's not very happy all the time.
Yeah, so I kind of
just
wonder
taking the
if
money.
like that's another wrinkle that they could add in this. You know, obviously during that match we saw, you know, some infighting within them with you know, Fletcher and MJF and Andrade. You know, there was some squabbling that was happening there. So that's a wrinkle to that. But also with the other members of the Don Callis family that weren't picked, that are always just kind of in the background.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder if they're kind of teasing like those members that aren't the featured members of the Don Callis family. Are they going to at some point kind of step up and go like, wait, what about us? Like, why aren't we getting picked? You know, you guys are bitching and complaining and fighting between y'all, but at least you guys are getting picked for this. At least you guys are Don Callis's favorites or whatever.
I say all the
you know,
time,
I wanted
why
to.
can't we have more Lance Archer? So
Exactly. You know, I wanted to get your thoughts on that because I thought it was really interesting. Like I noticed the way that Trent was behaving, like his body language, and I was like, there's something there. There's something with that.
Yeah. Well, I saw it. I noticed it too. But also, they're also, as that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Roppongi Vice, him and Rocky, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's still a tag team. So like so I see Rocky probably agreeing with him too, and you know Lance. You know, look at those three guys are being overlooked. You know, and yeah, Kyle is. He doesn't have a title right now. What's he doing? Okada doesn't have a title. What's he doing? But I think those two guys are going to be Callis's priority, and the other people. So there's got to be cracks. Otherwise, you can't just keep growing because he's got Kevin Knight now. So it's like, oh, once someone doesn't have a belt, you know, then they're chopped liver. So.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of managers of the past. Whenever their golden boy loses a title, loses a cup, a championship, or some sort of prize, they move on to the next cash cow. We've seen it with Paul Heyman over the years. He moved on from Brock Lesnar to the Big Show. Then he moved on to Heidenreich. Then he moved on back to, you know, Lesnar many years later, then Roman, and then Seth and Punk.
Yep.
Same
thing with Bobby the Brain. That's what happened. Yeah. Bobby the Brain even slapped Andre. What's wrong with you?
You're bleeding.
I mean, yeah, he did slapped Andre. He slapped Hercules Hernandez. He slapped them all.
But
he got his ass
Deb, I did also notice the dissatisfaction in Trent's face when he wasn't picked. And Rocky probably feels a little bit of that way too as well. And I know sure as hell, if Lance could grab Don Callis by the throat and throw him out that door, he would by now. But
yeah, we need a little dissension in the Callis ranks. Yes.
Yeah, there's some cracks in the foundation.
At the end of the day, it all boils down to fuck Don Callis.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's exactly. Just, there are cracks in the foundation, and it's just a matter of when those players are going to splinter off or show more decision. Same thing with Andrade. Andrade's there for one reason, and that's to get an AEW World Title shot. And he keeps getting to run around for both Don Callis and MJF over the fact we got to help him. He's paying us a lot of money. Andrade's like, I don't care about the money. I want a title shot. I want that title around my waist. Why am I helping the guy that I want to rip his face off while ripping my tights off and taking a picture with a hot girl in the first row? You know, it's just.
I think Callis lets Andrade loose on him because I think Andrade's good that way because I don't want him to turn face. I want him to be heel, like this, like this heel smarmy character is perfect for him right now.
Yeah.
So, I see him, you know, saying, yeah, you know, it was bothering me, but you know, Don Callis is making a lot of money for me right now off MJF, and once that apple tree is done shaking and there's no more fruit on it, he's going to let Andrade snap him in there. And
Yeah.
plus, that'd be a really good match, which we don't have to prove anymore that MJF can wrestle. I mean,
Oh, for real.
I mean,
And
just like he's done every single thing twice already. He's done enough and proved himself. So, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I
it's just gonna be something I would look forward to. But I look forward to MJF versus Ospreay first.
And Elder, you mentioned about an apple tree. Is that the same apple tree that you saw Adam and Eve buy back in the day?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Hey, I'm scared of snakes, but I had the apple. Friggin'.
Oh my God.
Apples and
So yeah. I thought all that happened on Dynamite on Wednesday, like, to me, it made the match on Forbidden Door more interesting. Like, it made me want it gave me more anticipation to see what's going to happen on Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
Like, they added more to the story. They added more intrigue. There's more kind of details in the story that makes it interesting to see what happens. Also on Dynamite, we had the face-off between Ospreay and Swerve, which I thought was just absolutely freaking incredible. I think both of them, like, it felt like a natural, like them just naturally speaking. It didn't feel like promo speak, if you know what I mean. First, like, Ospreay was talking to Tony Schiavone, and we all heard what he said, which was hilarious, by the way. And I saw that some people were having issues with him talking about his wife in that way. Come on, we're all adults. Come on. But yeah, so I thought
They
they're
had to have sex to have a baby.
No, they didn't have a baby.
Didn't they? Oh, they just got married? You gotta get
She
married.
has a child from a previous relationship, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. Oh, see? That's how up I am on all, like, their private lives. Like, when I tell you I could give two shits less about it.
I know.
Like, I'll know when two people are married. Like, I know, But
yeah.
I don't know anything. I'm not a total divas guy, so.
Yeah, me neither. But anyway, so I thought the promo between Ospreay and Swerve was really intriguing. Like, Swerve made some very, very good points. And, I do agree. I know a big talking topic this week was, like, Ospreay kind of explained to Swerve about, why he's training with the Death Riders and why he's choosing to train with them, despite the fact that, they're the ones that hurt him, and, they're the ones that took him out. And he didn't forget, he didn't forgive, but he's choosing to overlook that in order to get better. And but I agree with the topic that was brought up this week, that, like, we should see a promo where Ospreay says that to Mox.
Yes.
Ospreay acknowledges to Mox, like, hey, I didn't forget what you guys did.
It was,
I thought that was
kind of like, it's kind of like when we were like, why is Seth Rollins trusting Braun Breaker and what's his name?
Right.
They killed him. Bronson Reed.
Yes.
Bronson Reed killed. He did like 25 splashes. Tsunamis off the top rope on Seth. Seth was spitting blood, and then a month later, hey, this guy's in my vision. So
Right.
it's kind of like that. So is it going to be the turn on him? Like, I think Ospreay. I still believe Ospreay is infiltrating them, and
I do as well.
And things will heat up once Ospreay has 10 pounds wrapped around his waist. That's what I think. So
Yeah, Ezra.
Yeah,
or 20 pounds.
if there's one thing we know about Jon Moxley, he's one of the most crafty individuals in the game. He's gonna wait till Ospreay gets that 10 pounds of gold around his waist, and he's going to cut the head. That's exactly what Moxley is known for. Moxley is You interfere with his plans, he's gonna take you out. And like you said, I love the conversation between Will and Swerve. It was absolutely
Mhm.
great. The two traded bars back and forth. We even got an F-bomb dropped on live television, which
Yeah,
is
we
a
did.
rare occurrence in today's wrestling.
Mhm.
And you know what? It's going to be a banger of a match. How can you not go wrong between those two? And they make me even more want to get the pay per view because of that match and the other matches on the card as well. But more particular, this one. These two
Yeah.
are going to steal the damn show with this match alone. And we got 8, 9 others on the card that could do the same thing. But if anything, Will versus Swerve will be the match we will all be talking about at the end of the night.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think we're so used to AEW pay-per-views having like such stacked cards that there's usually like multiple matches that we say will be the show stealer. But I do agree, like I am so looking forward to that match. Swerve is one of my all-time top favorites in
I
AEW.
I look at all like Tony likes to stack a lot of the Smoz matches in there. I
Right.
look at it as the way people always said Vince tried to get away. Hey, we have the Andre Battle Royal. This way, all of these, the 2-hour pre-show. This way, everybody gets on. You know what I
Yes.
mean? On the pay-per-view. Trying to get
Yeah.
as much talent on the pay-per-view to make money as you can so it's kind of like the same thing. Like we know, like I say TK's got like ADHD, but he's also got like
Oh, he for sure does. For sure.
he's just very hyper, and he's like,
Yes.
we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do this. He's like that. Are you sure this is decaffeinated? Yes, I'm sure. Are you imprint for sure? I'm imprint for sure. And next thing you know, he's like, and then this one's gonna run in, and then that one, and then this one, and then here we go, and then he's gonna fly off of the top of this scaffold, and that one's gonna, it's like,
It's gonna be great.
except what,
It's gonna
yeah,
be great.
what do we always say? No matter what, listen. We could debate Dynamite and Collision and whatever, and I think Collision has gotten way better since.
Oh my God, it's
way
amazing.
better. But I think Collision is starting to know how to like get you to watch that for the storyline.
Yeah. If
but
you're
the
a
thing
newer
is, a
AEW fan
pay-per-view
and
is
you're
just-
not tuning into Collision, you're making a mistake.
and if you're an AEW fan and you want to see other independent wrestling, do the My AEW.
Yes.
I mean, Deb,
Yeah.
before you take it home, we just got to plug it once again. I mean, we
Yeah.
see Limitless. We're gonna get to see so many up and comers that you're gonna see in the future in TNA, WWE, and AEW, and
Yeah.
vice versa. It doesn't matter. Just watch it, right, Ez?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And look, AEW pay-per-views, like you said, we could debate about Dynamite and Collision. We could debate about any of the other shows that they have. Their pay-per-views have never missed. I will say that.
Mhm.
I've free streamed pay-per-views. I've ordered them, VPN, whatever the case may be, over the years. And you know what? I've never, except for a couple of endings, maybe, and a match or two, I've never been dissatisfied with an AEW pay-per-view. They've always
Yeah.
delivered on all cylinders. The TV part may be questionable in spots with certain things that may irk us, but in the end, when you get to that, what it's all about, and that is the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
You get to that night, you get to those matches, you're gonna leave with a smile on your face, and every penny you spend on it is worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
I have. I have to understand on certain storylines. I'm not going to rag on the Death Riders, but I understand when I hear other pro wrestlers that have been in the business for years and years try to explain it. But the only thing I'm worried about is at the end of the day, at the end of this thing that goes on, what is Will Ospreay going to do? Because now I'm intent on seeing Like, I don't
Right.
want to see Will Ospreay all of a sudden sitting there commentating, oh, yeah, there's John Moxley. He broke my neck,
Yeah.
like Danielson,
Yeah.
Oh, there's Mox. There's the Death Riders. They tried to suffocate
Yeah.
me to death. They
And you
actually tried to
don't
murder.
have to rag on the
That
Death
stuff-
Riders.
Yeah, no.
You don't have to rag on the Death Riders. LaGreca does it all for you.
No. That's it. Hey, listen. You know what? That's inside baseball to me, and that has more to do. With Tony not doing the show anymore. But he was given a half hour every week. He was giving carte blanche on that show.
Whatever.
But that doesn't matter. Who gives a crap? Because we're watching so much.
Elder does it more for
Yeah,
effect.
You skip over certain
But,
stuff. There's certain things you have to catch up on online. The same thing with me. Like I don't catch everything, but I do. I watch Raw. I watch Dynamite. I watch TNA. I watch NXT. The only one, like, John watches like everything, and like I have a certain amount of bandwidth, but I don't.
I don't have that much bandwidth.
You
I
have
just
a
don't.
job,
I don't.
People that have jobs, you front row and all that. When you have things to do, you don't have all that time. And John is, he's an enigma.
He
too.
finds the
He's an
time
enigma.
somehow.
He finds the time. But he digests everything pretty much all the time. He knows whatever's going on. Same thing with Ezra. Ezra, is right on top of things, and not only that, Ezra's on top of everything to do with sport, every sport really. Because
oh my God!
he's
So
on
okay,
Nation Sports Show. So which will
real quick, before we go, I do want to, because Night of Champions is going to be on next Saturday. It's in Saudi, so it's an afternoon show, correct?
I believe
Yes.
so.
So
Yes.
it'll be on before
Early,
we do the show
like noon or
next
something.
week. So I do want to take just a couple minutes before we go to mention Night of Champions. But speaking of sports, we had the Danhausen takeover this week. I know, everybody knows I've been a Danhausen fan since 2020. I think the guy is just supremely talented in specifically what he does. We all know he's not like, a 5-star pro wrestler or anything. He doesn't need to be. I am so freaking happy for him for what you couldn't have planned this. Nobody could have planned this to happen. This was just an incredible anomaly, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Whoever made the decision to not have him at the parade in New York City on Thursday is a fucking idiot.
I know he was on FAN, I believe, or whatever, but then he was also on Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, he should have.
Yes, there's that, but he should have
club.
been there standing next to Jalen Brunson. Okay,
but Deb, like this is called lightning in a bottle. Like this guy got booed out of the building in his own hometown of Chicago, where Pro Wrestling Tees, he was like the number one merch seller for like Infinity, and it was just like unreal. But he turned it around from that. I mean, this guy doesn't make chicken shit into chicken salad. He turns chicken into a friggin' like chicken Kiev, an entree, and like it's like chicken cordon bleu. It's not just chicken salad. He's friggin'. I just can't say enough good things for him, because like I haven't seen anybody that's truly not so happy for this guy, and he's virtually taking bump-free money.
So I just put up Dirty's comment in the chat here, or if that's Lil Dirty typing that in. You're not the only person I've seen say that. I have seen other people on social media say that they literally, like, they're not that into WWE right now, but they will catch up on the show and only watch the Danhausen segments, like, and just fast forward through everything else.
Can I just say something? We saw the past week that The Miz and Kit Wilson got electrocuted from Danhausen.
I saw that clip, yes.
Okay, so The Miz is going through all his lines. My hand goes up, your mouth goes shut, and hoorah. So, and now Kit Wilson is going toxic, you know. So he's
and Cardona said
Cardona
woo.
got electrocuted. So don't be surprised if next week we're gonna see woo 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 shit like that. Like, cause Danhausen keeps calling him Zack Ryder. He's like, my name's Matt Cardona. I mean, it's just like they paired them up with the perfect duo there with Kit and the Miz. Like, I just can't. Like, if you can't enjoy that, out of all the bitching and moaning we could do about what's going on in wrestling, like, look at, like, the smile, like, my face is hurting now.
I mean, for real,
Well,
like, you know, you guys know I'm not really that into WWE right now, but pretty much the only clips I catch up on are the Danhausen clips. Like, I'm sitting on Zoom and I hear you guys laughing your asses off, and obviously I know that means Danhausen is on TV, and I'm like, all right, I'll catch the clip later once it's posted on Twitter. I'll watch that.
And we tell you, just like you fill us in. You're like, I'm watching GC Dub. Oh, I'm watching Ring of Honor. You know, there's so much stuff. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so real quick before we go, Night of Champions on Saturday. Jey Uso won King of the Ring, so he will be won the semifinal. So he'll be facing Oba in the King of the Ring finals. And then we have Liv facing Io in the Queen of the Ring finals. We also had Tiffy and Jade for the U.S. Championship. Trick and Ricky for the Men's U.S. Championship. And then probably the big match is Cody, Gunther, and Sammy for the Undisputed WWE Championship. So what is probably the match that you guys are looking forward to the most, or what's most interesting to you right now?
Well, first, those are the Queen and King of the Rings. That's what those were. Yeah, not for the championships, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, those are the King and Queen of the Ring.
For King of the Ring, for future, whoever the winners are, can challenge for future champions. So,
at SummerSlam,
I mean, Oba Femi is just. I mean, it's right now. It's that. It really is. It really is that Hulk Hogan. That Hulk Hogan phenomenon going on. Like,
real quick, Pablo. This is my podcast. This.
Oh yeah.
You're watching it.
She's got a link you could click.
But this is my podcast. If you want to hear me talk, watch Nation's Corner. I don't talk anywhere else.
Yeah. She don't say shit later. I piss her off all the time.
Anyway, continue.
No, I lost my train of thought, but you know what? Yeah. Once again, I lost my train of thought.
So you were saying about
Oba. The King of the Ring, the Oba Femi pop, that's gonna be great because everybody does the yeet, but we all got to agree that the yeet has died down just a smidge, not completely. It's still a cool thing, it's still a live thing. But the Oba Femi thing is just like people are going out of their minds. They're doing the strut. Yes. Just the chant, the Oba chant is just he's over.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Yeah. So, like we said, we just have just great. The Queen of the Ring is going to be Liv against Io. So that's the other thing, and I'm hoping it's going to be Io, and eventually, hopefully,
Io and Rhea. Then she challenges Rhea.
Someone down the line that's got to go to that, please.
Yeah.
We need that.
As far as Oba and Jey, it's going to be a tough call because either man could win this. Jay's been on a roll once again ever since the Bloodline has gotten back together in his new formation with Jacob. But there are two words that could change this whole thing. Brock Lesnar. You never know. Brock may strike, which could lead to the matchup at SummerSlam which we said more than likely will be Brock's final match. I think we see Brock in Saudi Arabia, and he's going to cost Oba somehow. He's going to cost Oba that King of the Ring tournament. And Io, oh yeah, I expect Io to win. And yeah, definitely right on, Neil. I agree. Same thing. Io, I think is going to win it, and I think I agree with Elder. We're going to see Io and Rhea at SummerSlam. It's going to happen.
And also to your point too, with Jey Uso, with the crown, that's going to get under Jacob, because there's that underlying thing, because slowly but surely we've got the bloodline creeping back into main storyline shit, and having some pretty good stuff going on. So that's going to definitely be sticking in Jacob's craw. So
yeah. I do want to mention also with Trick Williams. You know, I'm a big Ricky Saints fan, but I do think that Trick is just like seemingly on another level right now. I saw yesterday that the Black Wrestling podcast posted that he is the #1 on their BRP 50 this year, and deservedly so. And if anybody didn't catch, I think it was Thursday's Not Sam Wrestling after Busted Open, DJ Who Kid was on for like the whole second hour. And Sam went on kind of catching him up on the happenings in WWE. And he showed Who Kid Trick's entrance with Lil Yachty and all the pomp and circumstance and all that. And Who Kid's response was, "Yeah, this looks like a gay wedding." And Sam goes, "Well, I don't know about all that." That popped me huge. I love that, but I mean, he ain't wrong. Trick's entrance is really glorious, and even
did you see the kid dressed up as Trick
on Sam's show? Yes,
that was phenomenal. That was so awesome, man. That was funny, man. That's right up there when I see the Orange Cassidy kid. I just love seeing the kids dressed up.
Dude, Trick is called lightning in a bottle, and I think that's why he's supposed to be this. That he came in as a heel, but he's getting babyface reactions, nuclear babyface reactions. As soon as his music hits, if they pop and they chant "Whoop that Trick" to as loud as they possibly can. Dude, those European crowds, when Trick came out, were just losing their freaking minds when Trick would come out on that pedestal, turn himself around, and woo up in the air. It was just an absolute incredible sight with Trick. He's on another level of popularity that I think a lot of talent wish that they had at this point in time.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, I don't really think he got there until he had the TNA title. I think having the TNA title did just absolute wonders for him.
Him and JC
put him to that next level.
Him and JC Jane really took that ball and ran with it, and that is why this is what their reward is for all their hard work and you know, the dedication that they had. Because you got to say, this NXT class that just got called up, it's got to be the most popular and the most successful so far that's been called up. So far, so good. I mean, and you're talking about like a Total Faction got called up. They're on fire. You got Trick called up, on fire. I mean, it's just so good. And while we see Neil making a comment there, and before you get to your vanilla swirl dessert as we sign off, we got Julia cut an all English promo the other night. It wasn't like one of those promos. It was a straight, you know. So listen, 2 languages, pretty soon 3. You know, going to be masterful at 3 languages. So, you know, this is really good for her, and this is going to be. I hope she breaks out. I think maybe hopefully they could get something between her and Stephanie Vekor heated up again, because those two have a chemistry with each other, and Neil would not complain.
And Neil would not complain at all. That's for sure. All right, let's bring this home. We got Collision on, we got GCW on, got a lot of stuff to do. I have to eat dinner. Ezra, where can people find you?
You can find me most nights on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on youtube.com/Our Nation Sports Show. It is our sports show that we do with me, Kevin Rory, our friend Steven Wyan, who's in the chat right now, Joey Thornton, and Randy Gyron. We talk all big sports. We get into a little wrestling talk as well if we have time. Right now we're just getting ready to head into football season here in about a month and a half. So we're covering all the news on that. We're covering the World Cup. We're doing a lot of different things coming up on the show. So definitely check that out. And also, I got to plug Too Sweet Cosplay, where's my cosplay crew out of Chicago.
Yes.
We do a lot of the big conventions out here. We're working on something for C2E2, either a photo shoot or a panel. When we get that information out, it will be updated across all of our socials, Facebook, Twitter, all that is at Too Sweet Cosplay, and that's where you can find me. And at Deadman469 on Twitter X as well, where I talk wrestling, sports, metal music, and usually make an elder pop by making fun of them.
Mongrovian.
I just want to say happy Father's Day to everybody this weekend coming up. Tomorrow. Happy Father's Day to everybody, all the dads out there, and thoughts to everybody whose dad is up in heaven right now, or with mine. Maybe they could all have a drink together. And
absolutely,
that's about it. Mongrovian Mike.
Yeah. All right. I am at That's So Debonair on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky. Find me everywhere. Click the link. Also, I saw Pablo in the chat ask if we will do like a pre-show stream. No, we just do Saturday night at same time every Saturday night, unless there's a Saturday night pay-per-view that forces us to go a little bit earlier.
Here's the pre-show stream. This is Deb. Oh, I gotta take my picture.
Oh, stop it. We're going to have a great time on Sunday because Slammiversary is earlier in the afternoon.
Around, making noise like, what the hell are you doing? Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to put my sound down.
So we just do the Saturday night. That's pretty much it. We all got hectic lives, so you can catch us right here every Saturday night. And you can find us on all of our socials at Nation's Corner on Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok, The Nation's Corner on Instagram. And have a good night. Happy wrestling.
Later.